All right, Rich Lafferty Racing here. Rich Lafferty with a student I had today for riding school, Sam Walls. I got that wrong. He just told me about that. So.
It doesn't matter.
Sam Walls, C Super Senior ECA Hare Scramble, and we did a 3-hour lesson. Just tell us a little bit about what you thought of today's lesson and what we worked on and how it affected your riding.
Absolutely. First off, thank you very much for having a school.
My pleasure.
It's a guy like myself that does want to ride better and do better and accelerate in the classes. It's very difficult to find someone to learn the basics from, and so I'm very, very grateful for that. So, but yeah, in our lesson today, I thought was really good. I got to work on some body positioning on how I'm standing, which, come to find out after watching on camera, I'm not even really standing, I'm kind of crouching back, you know. So it was a good thing to learn how to get up and get my legs much more straight and get out over the front of the bike.
Okay, so with the standing issue was how your legs are positioned on the bike versus accelerating versus through a corner.
Correct. I mean, my legs were so bent that when I would come to a corner, I'd get on the gas and it just pull me back even further, which just completely put me further out of position.
Okay.
So I'm constantly fighting to stay to the front of the bike, and which would just wear me out that much quicker, you know.
Yeah. A lot of times when you stand in that position too, all the time, it seems like your legs get fatigued more.
Absolutely, because my quads were doing all the work versus, you know, locking out, if you will, not complete lockout, but almost completely a lockout, and then out over the front, I could get a lot more comfortable. And then with that, us being able to do some work, some clutch work and clutch slipping work. So when I roll into a corner, I could get, come roll into the corner and then back out over the front of the bike and slip the clutch a lot cleaner and smoother and pull me right through the corner versus pulling me back off the back of the bars. Okay. That was a great lesson for me. Yeah. That really found some comfort there. I like that.
So Sam uses a Recluse on a 2017 KTM 300 XCW.
Correct.
Used a Recluse. I myself am not a fan of the Recluse just because of some of the characteristics, but we were able to override the system and make it work. One of the things is a lot of students come to me and they don't, because they have a Recluse, they neglect to use the clutch. Just hold on, white knuckle it, and just let the bike do the work. But a lot of times you lose control of the bike, and a lot of times you're not able to accelerate, have that good clutch control and acceleration out of a turn. So we worked on overriding the system and using good clutch feed to get the bike up and going in second or third gear.
And get good drive off the corner and on the pipe, you know, it wasn't real lazy and that.
But tell me now, do you think is there, a lot of people think when you accelerate and use the clutch, it's like an explosion, like, and constant and instant wheel spin. Was that what was going on?
No. It was easing the clutch out easy on the gas. I mean, I was on the pipe, but easing that clutch out to keep that drive and that rear tire from spinning, but yet getting a good smooth pull, you know, and it was nice and clean. It felt good. I mean, and I know when I didn't hit it too soon that the bike would get a little out of control or whatever the case may be, and I could tell by the wheel spin as well, which I know I don't want any wheel spin. So getting good traction and then planting that rear tire in the ground and getting off that corner.
Now, back to getting forward over the bike, as far as when you're accelerating out of that turn, your legs went straight, so your head went more forward. Was that better when you were able to apply the clutch as well?
It did, because I pulled myself out over the front of the bike, which I had found a lot of comfort, and I was more comfortable out there. And then when I was accelerating as well with the clutch and slipping the clutch, it didn't matter how hard I pulled out of it, I was still out over the front of the bike and didn't feel like I was out of control. And it was interesting when we tried it the first couple of times and I was back in my original position, I'd get that whiskey throttle because I'm trying to hang on to the motorcycle on the front wheels, you know, the whole 9 yards, and then pin it, and found myself trying to gather myself back up to get to the front of the motorcycle, and luckily I didn't hit a tree.
I laugh because, like, how many times if we're using a Recluse and you're white knuckled it, so there's no finger on the clutch, which is bad, and you're back on the bike and you're in this position and there's no clutch, no finger on the clutch, and you're in this position, you're going back. Is it hard to shut the throttle off?
Yeah, no, you can't.
At least if you have the finger on the clutch, you can, okay.
It's an instant natural reaction to let go. It's no different bull riding. You don't want to let go when you're falling off. You want to hang on even tighter. You know?
So, and there was a third thing we kind of played around with was just as far as bike setup. Getting forward, we had your original position with the forks, you were up on the second line. The forks are pretty far up, so the bike was a little bit nose heavy down. And then getting forward with the bike set up that way was kind of a little bit not as stable. So we pushed the forks down all the way flush. We went drastic. What was your feedback on that?
Well, before we made the adjustment and I would get out over the front, you're right, I felt like I was going to fall over the front of the bike. It didn't quite have that comfort level, but after we made that fork adjustment, it leveled the bike right out. Now I'm out over the front. I can even go a little further and find more comfort out there, so I'm not as intimidated the further out I am. So as we spoke about earlier, out there far enough where I can't even see the bars anymore. I found myself a couple of times out there where I couldn't see them versus peripheral, being able to see the bars, knowing I can get through those trees. That it didn't make me nervous, you know, so I was okay to get out there. And I know that's going to take some time to find comfort out there, but I felt much smoother, a lot quicker. I found some speed there and I could keep consistent speed, not just, you know, just on the gas, off the gas, and just, you know, which just wears me out
Now,
over time.
putting your head more forward, I mean, creates more momentum and whatnot, but did the front end feel any different as far as just having that weight on the front end?
Sure, you got more traction.
More traction.
Sure. And that way the front end doesn't wash out as easy.
But, and it was also key, would you say, in the changes we made to kind of baby steps into it, just kind of slow your speed a little bit and then work on it, and then as you get comfortable, then your speed comes back up.
Right, worked on my stance, and then worked on the clutch control, and then worked on the setup, and then tied it all together.
Awesome.
And it's exactly what it was. It was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So again, Sam Walls, Rich Lafferty, Rich Lafferty Racing, and we're just finishing up a lesson here. So stay tuned, and you'll find out more on my website at richlaffertyracing.com. Thank you.
Thank you.